It's another beautiful day to talk sports once again on Dominion Television. It is Dominion Sport, and of course we're all set once again to bring you up to speed with all the happenings in the beautiful and ever-exciting world of sport. Myself, Boluwaji Ogumala, and Toluwani Polabe, the one you love to call Radio Paps. We're both here to do justice to all of the news and of course in-depth analysis. And very shortly, Tobiloba Ajewole will be joining us via Zoom, and together we will be discussing many of those trending stories that you have been talking about at home, from the Nigerian National League to the MPFL, as teams continue to prepare for the new season. Let's take a look at the Super Falcons as they continue their preparations for their quarterfinal encounter against Zambia. Yes, it's a must-win game for Nigeria if they look to win the WAFCON title for a record 10th time. We'll also take a look at a fallout from the FIFA Club World Cup and then a couple of transfer stories on the show this morning to talk about. Toluwani is here, and of course together we'll be talking about all of that and many more. Toluwani, it's good to have you on the show again.
Good morning to you, and it's looking like it's all Mission X all the way with the Nigerian jersey and view, and I'm sure we are rooting for the Super Falcons. Having to look at it, the back and forth. The last time we played, the Zambians, we were knocked out of the third place game with an own goal, from Chiamaka Nnadozie. But right now, it looks like we'll be firing on gun blazing. We want to get the goals, want to get the victory against the Zambians, and not that they don't have also they have defensive problem in this competition. So I'm sure our focus today is going to be majorly on the Super Falcons of Nigeria to see how far they can go in Morocco.
All right, that and many more we'll be talking about on the show today. And don't forget that Tobiloba Ajewole will be joining us very shortly, so we get to talk about everything on the show this morning. Let's start from the NNL, where the league body, the NNL, has said that the new season will kick off in October. The league body made the announcement after a meeting held in Asaba over the weekend. The body also, scheduled its AGM for the last week of August. The AGM will serve as a preparatory roadmap for the new season. Well, Warri Wolves won the 2024-2025 NNL title after beating Wiki Tourists 3-2 in the final of that one. The Seasiders, Wiki Tourists, Para FC, and Kun Khalifa gained promotion to the MPFL, at the NNL promotion of playoff. Well, there you have it. I mean, I was thinking we would have, the league start also in October, aligned with global best practice. But it is what it is. They are saying they want to start in October because, why not? Let's start early enough. But then NNL board, they've said this is how they want it. We'll just go by it. Okay. But most importantly, for us, it's Crown FC going back to start again, to begin again.
Okay, I think I'm going to start off with Crown FC. There's absolutely nothing wrong with starting again. But if you're starting again, I think you need to look at what you did the last time that did not work for you, and how you can get better going forward, if you're trying to start again. And, it's just going to give them a morale booster to see how far they can go again the next season. And also, for the shift, for the game starting off in October. I think it will give enough rest, for some teams, who have had the playoffs, and also the players to rejuvenate back and get back in good form and see how far the competition can play. And also, I just hope that, at this October, a timing for the window, we would also give room for improvement for next season.
Talking about improvement, I was going to actually talk about that, to say, what are some of the improvements you want to see in the NNL?
So for me, we need to see, good officiating, we need to see good management, we need to see also a good, I'm talking about good pitch,
stadium. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they're not starting now.
Why they're not starting early. So we're just hoping that all these things can be put in place, all disciplinary actions also being taken properly, going forward. Also, I think I just want to digress a little bit. Let me just go back, to the chairman, Elegbeleye, he did fantastic last season, MPFL, and I'm sure also there's so many new structures that will be put in place, come next season. So I think these are the measures also the NNL also want to put in place going forward. We just hope that, this shift to October can give a new brand, a new face
for the NNL.
For the NNL.
But the MPFL still starts on the 22nd of August, and I will definitely keep you updated. Tobi Ajewole joins at this point.
Big man.
Yes, Tobi, good morning. Can you hear me? So, Tobi, we're talking about the NNL. Of course, the board are saying the league starts October. And I was wondering, Why not early enough? Why not August? Why September? I'm sure that they're trying to put one or two things together. But what are the changes you would love to see in the new NNL season?
Well, yes, yes. Once again, good morning. I believe because definitely I'm not the NNL spokesperson, but the truth is that they call the NNL the most important league because that is where teams get promotion to the NPFL. Teams get demoted. Even teams from the nationwide League One will also get promotion. And as of the last check, there were some issues that plagued the nationwide League One playoffs of teams that will get promoted to the NNL, and there was a whole lot that the NFF had to even intervene with, having to arbitrate among some clubs and even some administrators. So you would say maybe that might have played a role because there has to be promotion from the NLO to teams to the NNL for them to even have a complete league in the real sense of the word too. You might also, I'm sure you're also familiar with what happens with how there's a whole lot of back and forth before a new league starts, whereby clubs are giving grace to register players, have the licenses of players done and the likes. And we know most of the time, even when these clubs are giving deadlines to more or less
they still got to default.
There are multiple deadlines before clubs even finally tick all of these boxes. So I think it makes some sense for between now and October. To have all of these things done, so that we would not say, okay, the league will start, we would believe that the league should start in, let us say, August, September for start, and one clubs or multiple clubs are still having issue with player licensing and even registration. So give them that, I believe, in my own estimation, give them that long rope. And it would, if any club that does not meet up between now and October will know that they are not ready to participate in what we call the most important league in Nigeria, the NNL. So there's a whole lot that needs to happen, especially from the NLO side. So I think that is why we are having this. But we are still, football is still teaching in terms of having a standardized calendar. We will say maybe we are gradually getting it with the NPFL. In due course, the NLO will fall into line, and maybe the NNL will fall into line, and the NLO will fall into line. Let's see how that goes and moving on.
Talking about the NLO falling into line, honestly, that will be difficult. We know all the logistics that comes with the NLO. Honestly, we don't have enough stadiums to host sort of NLO games. You have to wait till the end of the season, to allow teams get to use it. So all of those things put together might make that a little difficult. But then let's talk about Shooting Stars Sports Club of Ibadan. Yes, a new sheriff in town, and of course he has promised that he wants to take the club to the next level, and I promised something very important. Myself and Toluwani talked about it yesterday, saying that he wants to build a new clubhouse for Shooting Stars. You know the history of the entire Shooting Stars and their clubhouse at Jericho, no doubt about it. But he's now saying that it's something that he wants to do before the end of the Governor Seyi Makinde administration. He has already asked the governor to provide a land, and he'll talk to sponsors to build such a stadium. And what do you make of this promise? Because we've heard it before.
Yes, we've heard it before, and truth be told, I think it's long overdue with a club in the magnitude of the Shooting Stars and everything they hold forth in terms of history, in terms of pedigree, not only in Nigeria, but also on the continent. A whole lot actually flows out of that club in terms of running costs, not just the payment of salaries to players, payment to staff, in some cases civil servants that are in the club, even individuals that are not civil servants, so even when they even pay, for those that do not know, the Shooting Stars, they pay to more or less use the Lake Salami Sports complex anytime
and the clubhouse.
Yes, the clubhouse also, they pay rent for there for and you know how much that is. Even so, there's a whole lot that actually goes into Shooting Stars beyond the payment of player salaries or wages, if we might want to call it that. So there needs to be total investment, or a whole lot of investment in personnel, investment in manpower, investment in facilities a clubhouse, a proper gym, and the likes needs to happen when you are talking about the shooting stars. So I think for that, the chairman is saying the right thing. Let me just say, he's saying the right thing. Now we hope that he gets the fund to do all of these things that he has said. And truly, I wish him all the best. Right, ever since he has been announced as the chairman of the shooting stars, he has been traveling. I have it on good record that he was in Lagos
Yeah.
over the weekend for their opener against the Ikorodu City. Come tomorrow again. It will also be in Lagos.
Against Rivers.
Before the week runs out, he'll be in Abuja, just running around for the shooting stars. So I think he knows that name. Remember when we first spoke about his appointment as chairman
Yeah.
of the club. Said we were saying that, okay, what will he be bringing? And I said something about that name, Lekon Salami.
Yeah.
It's that name itself has a whole lot of weight, and I'm sure he knows that he has to deliver, if not for anything, because of that name, Lekon Salami. EBS is one of the biological children of the late Chief Lekon Salami.
Yeah.
Now was one of the early founders of the shooting star. So I'll be wishing him all the best. Truly, he has a daunting task in front of him.
Absolutely.
And the football supporters will be hoping that he definitely delivers.
All right, football fans, we hope that he definitely delivers. That's what we want. That's what our club deserves. And of course, that would definitely be hoping happens. Toluwani, you listened to Toby earlier there, and of course, talking about shooting stars. Yeah. For you also, I know we discussed the entire club situation earlier. Toby said it, we want something new for our club. But for you, the new season is fast approaching. What are your expectations?
Okay,
especially with the new manager.
Okay, so my expectation for Shooting Stars is to, aim high. Last season was not so good. Having to be in pole position. To secure tickets. Right now it's not looking like it looks like a different ball game entirely for Shooting Stars. But we're just hoping for good management for them next season. The morale should be high. From all the coaching staff. And the players also. And I think. They need to have the mentality check that we wanted to achieve something great. We almost did, but I think now the physios, whoever is coming into the team right now, I need to just help the players' mentality and saying, come on, we almost did, and we can do it again. Come next season. Also, the players need to stay fit and also have. I think we need to move away from the issues of the referees, because we had several referees last season. Affected Shooting Stars game. Home and away, and also the fans also need to stay, are disciplined to avoid issues of deduction of points and things like that. So I think if those things can be put in place, for Shooting Stars, I'm sure, it's going to be a different ball game, next season, and we're just open. We know what, the people of Ibadan and
what we want,
and what we have Shooting Stars, are gone blazing for next season. It's going to be an amazing feat, for them, right there. So it's just a big ups. We're expecting the very best for Shooting Stars come next season.
Yes, very best for Shooting Stars come next season. That's what we hope. That's what we pray for, and that's exactly what we need the team to do for us. Tobloba, let me come to you quickly. Next season, just like I asked, Toluwani here, what are your own expectations? What should the Tenka crew be telling the boys going into the next season? Yes, we almost got it last season. What should he be saying? Because other teams will also come blazing next season.
Yes, definitely. So far, the team, they've been having a whole lot of transfer activities, which I'm sure in the coming days. So I would not jump on. In the coming days, the club would announce
officially.
Contracts.
That's an issue, basically. It's been an issue.
Arrivals with Shooting Stars, and this will definitely should definitely increase the productivity of the team, because it was dismal second stanza in the NPFL. That was from last season, failing to build on the successes. Injuries too didn't help the cause of the Oluyole Warriors. That was towards the later, or shall I say, we look over the second stanza of the league. That was from last season. But right now, I'm sure the chairman should have it at the back of his mind that for you to get quality legs, it won't come cheap, and they really has have a lot to do in terms of bringing in quality legs. While some players have already left, they have to fill in those vacuum. They have to fill in the vacuum of players that have left. So it is getting proper quality to bolster the squad, having a decent logistics now, because we
Logistics.
knew that like twice or three times in the season there were incidences of the team boss having issues for away trips. Even incidentally, one of the games which they had an away victory that was against the Rangers,
Yes.
there were some issues on the road when they were on their way to Enugu back then. Even ultimately got that 3 point against all odds. All of these basic things shouldn't hamper their movements. This is 2025. They should be able to get rid of some of these minor things, and even if possible, fly to away games, because the logistics, the stress of traveling from here to, for example, beside in Maiduguri, that is El Kanemi Warriors, having to spend a little over 1.5 days on the road, you won't get the best from players. And if you want to have something decent in the league, it's not just having home wins. You have to have a handful of away points, wins and draws, and all of these. When we do not run an abridged league, or we do not run a conference, a northern conference or a southern conference, you have to play across the country. So a whole lot needs to happen now. Let's see what if the chairman he has prided himself as a businessman, as a sports mogul, someone.
And he has promised us to attract sponsors also.
Yeah, he did.
Yes, exactly. So I see that's the more reason why I'll be watching keenly all of these trips that he will be having. Like I said, he was in Lagos over the weekend. He said he'll be in Abuja this coming weekend too. So let's hope these trips will bring fruitful gains to the Oluyole Warriors.
All right, let's move away from Ibadan and go straight to Kano, where Kano Pillars have confirmed the arrival of 2 new players ahead of the 2025-2026 MPFL season. Now, the duo are forward Chigozie Okorie and defender Mukhtar Mohammed. Okorie, teamed up with Kano Pillars from Rangers, while Mohammed joined from El Kanemi Warriors. The players' arrival was announced on the club's official Facebook page yesterday. The Kano Pillars have earlier unveiled Uzo Benjamin from Atlant. Kano Pillars are expected to announce more arrivals before the end of the transfer window. I'm sure you've been checking out the screen, Toluwade, and seeing the beauty of that unveiling, right? Says a lot about Kano.
Yeah, Kano and
the aesthetics behind.
Yeah,
I mean, check this out.
It's giving
Some European
style pattern, but
Ahmed Musa effect.
Ahmed Musa effect, and still giving us, the African heritage. It's still going back to culture. And I think, these players would just need to show. I think they just need to show Kano Pillars that this is the reason why, we came in, and want to do something big, for the club next season. So I think it's a good fit, for Kano Pillars. And like Atobo was also speaking about, Shooting Stars also, saying that they need addition, to the team.
Kano Pillars already doing that.
Already doing that also. So I think, as soon as possible before the season starts, you need to have these players in the team to gel, to have the chemistry with other players, going forward for next season. So it's a big fit for Kano Pillars, and we hope that these players, can be, a good addition to the side.
Absolutely, we hope that they will be a good addition to the side. To be, we've been seeing unveiling from Kano Pillars. What's happening? Shooting Stars, they're not yet here to get the memo.
Well, for Kano Pillars, no doubt about that. You're seeing the Ahmed Musa effect. For someone who is well traveled, Europe, Asia, back home in Nigeria, you would definitely expect him to be a breath of fresh air. You also said he'll be playing on pitch come next season. But for Shooting Stars, just as I said, I can confirm that some players are already on the wraps right there, but you just be expecting official word from them perhaps this weekend or at most next week, and we'll be seeing the players. We'll let us also see the aesthetics that will be brought into the unveiling.
I hope it will be as beautiful as this.
Also.
But we do have things back there,
I don't know.
Oh, you're still being a pace setter. The uniqueness of how they might want to do theirs might be a bit different, but let's see. Let's see. Definitely a whole lot definitely coming from from the Raps right there.
Absolutely, a whole lot, and of course, we want it to be a very good one anyway. So when we display here, it will also look beautiful as our Caterpillar's own. All right, so let's move to Enugu this beautiful morning. Talk about Rangers International. Yes, we understand that they are set to adopt a new home ground for the new season. Well, in case you're hearing that for the first time, Rangers International are looking to adopt the Aqua City Stadium as their temporary home ground for the 2025-2026 MPFL season. Now, the Flying Antelopes' original home ground, as the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu, popularly known as the Cathedral, now has been marked for renovation by the state government. Now, the renovation work is aimed at preparing the ground for hosting the 2025 National Sport Festival. Rangers players and officials are in camp, gearing up for the upcoming MPFL season. The Flying Antelopes finished 10th last season, so no continental football for them. The 2025-2026 season will start on the 22nd of August. Tonelani, here you have it. So we don't know, we don't have a time frame just yet of how long the renovation will take. But it's not looking like a renovation that will end anytime soon, because the preparation for the next festival
is, is coming up.
And don't forget, the teams that played away from home last season,
where
they had issues.
Big issues. Even Toby also spoke about it, earlier on the show. And I think I don't know how this will work for them, but this temporary home ground for them, I just hope that it brings a good fortune for them. And also, but we know that it's not going to be something rapid. We know we definitely know how it works right here, in the system of Nigeria. And I just hope that things can be done better, for them going forward. But for this new home ground, like I said, I just hope it brings adopted. Let's use that word. I just hope that it brings a good fortune, for them come next season.
Yeah, let's come to you, Toby. Here's Rangers. We saw teams that played away from home last season struggle away from home. Is it not because the league is starting in less than a month? And we are just talking about the renovation of that stadium. And if it was just only the pitch that they are renovating, we could say, okay, give or take 3 weeks or thereabout. But this is the entire complex
the stadium
for the festival. Looking like they will spend some time in Oka.
Well, truth be told, Barrister Lloyd Ekweremadu, the sports commissioner in Enugu State, in fact, one of the youngest sports commissioners in Nigeria, just as we have right here in Oyo State. When it was at the 22nd National Sports Festival in Ogun State, and I asked him on the sidelines, will Enugu State be ready for the National Sports Festival?
They will tell you they're ready. They will tell you they're ready.
He said they will be ready. And he said they will be ready. And I told him that, should I have him on tape? He said I can have him on tape that Enugu State will be ready. There will be no postponement. And the truth is that recently, if my memory serves me, I think that was last year, there were some renovation works right there at Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium in Enugu State, which Barrister Amobi, the general manager of Enugu State, even declared open. He played a few games, even done in the jersey of Rangers back then. So I think maybe the state is looking at, for a greater good, and also trying to equal, if possible, even better what Ogun State did with the National Sports Festival. So let them just take activities away from the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium and have it in pristine form ahead of the National Sports Festival, especially if they have said there will be no postponements come next year when the National Sports Festival will be happening. And for Rangers, I guess they would have, being a state-owned club too, it is like a government decision, and being owned by the government, is the government also taking the decision of moving its own club from the Cathedral right into the Aqua City Stadium, where they should be playing they should be playing their home games, which I feel makes sense too, because beyond the field of play, there are also other facilities that will also be upgraded within the Nnamdi Azikiwe Stadium that will also be useful. So I think maybe for the contractors to have enough time to cover up a whole lot of work, because imagine them playing games within the facility and the contractor working, there might be a whole lot of clash. So let them deliver this facility in record time, and why not move to other grounds? Yes, that might affect the rhythm of the club, knowing how Rangers fared last season. I'm sure Fidelis Ilechukwu wouldn't be happy down with this decision, but at this point, he's an employee of the Enugu State government, and at this point, I think the Enugu State government, they are placing priority on the Coal City Games. That is the National Sports Festival come next year.
I mean, absolutely, that's what we're looking forward to. Guys, let's move straight to Casablanca. Time never a friend while talking sport. And we can go all the way and talk about the NPFL. I mean, spend the entire month talking about the NPFL. We just hope that the administrators are watching and they pick one or two things from all of this discussion. Let's go to Casablanca. Yesterday was media day. And the media had a time with some of the players yesterday. Let's catch up with two of them. Speaking with Ademola Victor yesterday. I'll be back to discuss the Super Falcons at the WAFCON competition. Well, don't forget, we have a big date on Friday against, Zambia. Honestly scared to call that name, actually, but then it is what it is. Let's enjoy a few interviews from the camp of the Super Falcons. I'll be back on the show.
Had your first appearance for Nigeria at an international competition at the senior level at the WAFCON here in Morocco. How do you feel finally playing your first game for Nigeria?
At first, I thank God for the opportunity, because without God, I will not be far in this career. So I thank God at first. Second, I'm very happy and I'm very excited to travel out there and to be in this AFCON, to make the distance, to play too. I'm very happy and I'm very excited too. To me, it's a big opportunity for me too. So I'm happy.
You had a very good game against Algeria. I mean, a lot of fans also commented online, also commended you, for the brave performance. Did you have any nerves coming into the game?
To me, at first, I'm
Sarah Amazon's player and Super Falcons of Nigeria player. Finally, you just had your first appearance for the Super Falcons at an international competition at the Women African Cup of Nations here in Morocco. Your team did not concede. You played a goalless draw against Algeria.
That's true.
We're now through to the quarterfinals, still unbeaten, top of the group. Sekirat, first of all, how excited are you to finally make your first appearance for the Super Falcons at the Women African Cup of Nations here in Morocco?
I'm very excited, and thanks to God Almighty for bringing me here. And it's a good experience so far. At least I was able to start yesterday, and I believe with the result we got yesterday, we hope to get a better one.
Yeah. How's the journey been so far, Sekirat? From Nasarawa Amazons now to the Super Falcons. How were you able to achieve this?
Well, that was media day yesterday. Our players had time with the media. I asked several questions, but over time we won't be able to go. Let's talk, guys. The quarterfinal is upon us, and it's the Zambians. Let me start with you, Toby. It's the Zambians, and people are worried out there going by the performances of our girls. But then the statistics kind of favor us because we're doing well at the back.
Yes, the numbers favor us, and more reason why I said it depends on the divide you find yourself. The cup, is it half full or half empty? Half full indicates that, yes, after 3 games played, 4 goals scored, 0 conceded, having it water back. If you're looking at the cup half empty, you would say the girls, they've been goal shy. Coming up against a fleet-footed Zambian side, definitely they will be tested. Come Thursday when the quarterfinals will be played, and knowing that the last WAFCON also, which Morocco hosted, is also the Zambians that made it possible, or should I say impossible for the Falcons to more or less come home with any medal on their necks. That was when the WAFCON was also hosted in Morocco. So I would say the Nigerian girls, they have faith with date. They will definitely it might have a psychological strain on them when they come against the Zambian side, and knowing what Barbara Banda has been doing for club and country. This is one girl that has been on fire. She doesn't have it. She finds it very easy. Look at what she did at the Olympics. Yeah. So when you see her playing, you know that she's a major live wire. If she's playing in a unit, if she's isolated, she's almost unstoppable. However, football, you know what we say about football, that 1 + 1 is not always 2. You could have You could have a very decent tournament. You could play the best of football, and the result might not go your way. Meanwhile, just as one legendary Nigerian commentator would say, Nigeria would always wumble and fumble its way to the final, and once the final happens, you see them playing the games of their life. So I will be cautiously optimistic, just the same way I have been cautiously optimistic. To be honest with ourselves, the Falcons did not have the best of preparations going into this tournament, or a reflection of how women's football.
What's with this cautious optimism? NFF is saying Mission X.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly, but at this point, it's the girls playing for pride. Those of us that are quite familiar with what is happening at the back doors, we just pushing the girls, but they could have had. We know it could be better than this, but at this point, the girls are already in it right now.
In our
we
times,
just hope that they take one game. Yes, take one game as a coach and take the game against Zambia as a final. In my own opinion, I know sometimes we always say, don't see a game as a grudge match, but see this Zambian game as a grudge match, because if the Zambians can have another result over us, because just as I said, the last time the third place playoff in 2022, they defeated us in the third place playoff. If they have another result consecutively in knockout phases over us at the WAFCON, it means that fear factor will be diminished anytime if we are to face them, maybe at the third time. So see this Thursday's game as a grudge match. Be ruthless in front of goal. I know that might not be easy, but any chance they see, let them take it. So I just be hoping that the technical crew will be able to more or less fashion out best ways to bring down the Copper Queens come Thursday.
I mean, it is what it is, Toby. We'll talk a whole lot more about this. But first off, just to put all this into context and let our listeners know, or viewers know exactly what we are talking about, the teams that will feature in the quarterfinals of the ongoing WAFCON are now confirmed. Now, this followed the conclusion of the group stages yesterday. Now, yesterday, Ghana booked their spot with a comprehensive 4-1 victory. Was trashing, actually, against Tanzania. South Africa also destroyed Mali 4-0 to finish top of Group C. Now, the defending champions will take on Senegal now in the quarterfinals, while Ghana will play Algeria. Mali will come up against host Morocco. And of course, Nigeria will face Zambia. That's exactly where we are. Now, on Friday, we will take on Zambia in Casablanca at 4 p.m. Morocco will take on Mali that same day. And on Saturday is Algeria, Ghana, and of course, South Africa, Senegal, and then semifinals later on. Tolu, and here you have the fixtures. You finally have Zambia. I think we were talking about it yesterday on the show, saying, is it Zambia? Is it not going to be Zambia? Finally, we have them. We have to get past them.
Yeah, well, I think like Toby said, I'm going to pick up from what he said. We need to take it like the final right now. And for me, I'm so excited to face the Zambia, the Copper Queens, and I'm sure.
You're excited to face
yes,
the doctors.
Actually, I am, and I'm just hoping that we can get past this team and not have the fear factor. Remember, like I said, before Toby also said, he said, the last time we faced them was a third place match, and
why I said that was that the Copper Queens, I mean, they've been impressive so far. Fluid attacking play.
Actually,
in this competition,
against
us.
They have the goals. They have the goals in the ranks for them.
Yes.
But also defensively, we can say the Super Falcons are doing great. Maybe
because we've not faced
yes, I'm about to say that. And Barbara Banda is firing on all cylinders. 3 goals in this competition right now, and it's back to back. And I'm sure she'll be eyeing a big game like this against the Super Falcons of Nigeria. And I'm sure I'm just hoping that the mindset for the players will be right. I just need them to get the goals, understand what's at stake right now. And I don't know. I'm just hoping that there can be a change in Rasheedat Ajibade's position come this game. I just want to see that change. And I don't know if Asisat Oshoala is not the best start for this game. I think let's have the young guns get it done.
Time, right?
Yeah, I'm sure maybe we can have our coming again, maybe the second half. But I just hope that the coach can get the formation right going into this game, and let's see how we can get the goals quickly. Because trust me, if the Copper Queen can get the goal ahead of the Super Falcons. you know we have been struggling in front of goals. So it's going to be difficult to see, how we can overturn that, going into this competition. But it's still Mission X. I remain positive, and trust me, I'll be here, to lift up.
You're not conscious of your expectation.
No. I'm not Toby today. I'm not Toby. So I'm going ahead.
He mentioned something very important, and that's how best to bring out the best in our players.
Yeah.
For the coach. And he mentioned Rashida now.
Ajibade.
Yeah. And have you also spotted any of the players you feel have not delivered enough for the team?
Well, in my opinion, I think the team. So I think if I don't want to single out players because it would be a huge disservice. But I think as a team, they have not really moved as a unit, but individually you could see flashes. We've seen what Chiwendu Ezwo has done, having 2 goals for herself. Babajide Risola having a debut to remember in her first WAFCON. Rashida Tajibade, she has not hit that high, if I can call it that. Which I feel she could do better. For Atisa Tushuala, I think the legs are gradually going. Star girl that has definitely ruled and even had an imprint in the world. In my opinion, maybe just as the same way she was drafted from the bench in that World Cup game against Australia, the last FIFA Women's World Cup. Maybe that is what can be done, in my own opinion. Bring her off from the bench, and maybe she can have that killer instinct that we know how to have, just like that fox in the boxer mentality that we know how to have, and maybe she can do that against the Zambians, because the Zambians will definitely run that defense ragged come Friday when that fixture will be going down. So I think as a team, the girls have not clicked there, but you know how Nigeria, the generality of Nigerian national teams it is when you do not more or less
expect
so much hope, when you do not have so much promise on them, that is when they deliver.
I mean, we're hoping that they will do just that, because Zambia is a very big test. But like they say, Toluwane, I mean, to be the best, you have to beat the best.
Yeah, actually, I think that counted all already. To be the best, you have to be the best, and I'm sure. So the Copper Queens know they know already that the Super Falcons are the best already. So not taking anything away from that. Even if you look at the past record, we had 2 wins. Ahead of them, they have just 1 win. So it favors Nigeria in this fact. But I'm sure the Copper Queens have the intellect that we knock them out. The last WAFCON. So let's have that spirit again. Let's bring it up against the Super Falcons. And I'm sure, the coach must have gone back to look at how far, the Super Falcons have gone, this year's WAFCON. And, so what can we change? What's the firing power that we can bring in? And I'm sure, Barbara will be the best option, for the Copper Queens going into, this round. So like I said, once again, to beat the best, you have to be the best right there. So for me, I remain positive. I'm just hoping that Friday, that does not change for me on the same card. I know Boluwaji will come gun blazing against me.
No, I won't come gun blazing against you, honestly, because over the weekend, you were all PSG. PSG appointed you.
Yeah, we are again.
Women also, you were all Carlos Alcaraz.
And
I remember saying,
Toby, Toby, I'm begging now.
Life is not this difficult.
I'm just saying Mission X. Mission X is Mission X. Please, help me beg Boluwaji to attack me on Friday, please.
So it's important, because at the end of the day, Yannick Sinner changed the entire narrative on Sunday, just like Chelsea also did. But then that's the beauty of the game, right? That's the beauty of the game. At times, you sit back and you say, this person should do this and do that. Then it doesn't work that way at times. All right? And I remember talking about Novak Djokovic in the semifinal, saying he was suffering injuries.
Yes, you said so.
He had that injury, and I was worried, because I was honestly supporting him, no doubt. The legendary status and all that. But I was saying, this guy is injured. Sinner will capitalize on that.
He's aiming for something already, so you should know. You should know it's disastrous already.
And that was exactly what we saw there. And we're hoping for the best for the girls anyways. We're hoping for the best no matter what. And I just hope that the girls will take it up. And that's one thing I like about football. Look at what happened to Chelsea that day, and some of the teams that have always come out against all odds to say, it's beyond what the coach tells me. At the end of the day, it's my legacy I'm building. Because the Zambians are talking. Rachel Kundananji, he has said that the team, is ready to battle the Super Falcons of Nigeria. well, she's a Zambian forward, and she was part of everything good for Zambia so far in the group stage. And don't forget, we actually finished with the same points.
Yeah, true.
Number of points.
True, number of points.
And we're second in their group with 7 points.
7 points. We finished.
Top of our group in 7 points. Because they've been superb going forward. And you allow them to say all of those things. Right? Deborah Banda also, she's someone, we're also looking at and saying, we have to be careful.
Yeah, actually, let me just chip in this quickly. Let me just chip in this quickly. So, I'm sure we don't want to make the mistake of just focusing on Barbara Banda alone, because if that's the focus, I'm sure the coach, of the Copper Queens would say, their focus is going to be on Barbara Banda.
So why not?
So let's pick in 1 or 2 players that can also, do the work, aside.
And they have a couple. They have a couple.
So they have a couple, right there. So let's not focus on Barbara Banda alone. Let's see how we can, take out the whole team out of the play, get the goals done. I know, because once we start focusing on that player, I'm sure the coach will already study that. Major problem. So let's switch up play. Let's take up Barbara Banda and let's do the right. I'm sure that's what happened against Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea. Not everybody was expecting, Kopama to pull up the magic.
He has not really done so much in recent times.
Honestly, I was asking the question. I was wondering if Kopama went to the gym a night before the game, because the strength he had against Mendes, against Vitinha, against your Neves, against Fabio Luis, Kopama was boarding everybody. And my question, I'm like, Kopama, you ordinarily, just one check, you are down to the floor already. But, the strength was there. So I think, once you put your focus on just one player, it's going to be a problem. Then the coach will know that, okay, let's switch up play. Let's change the magic for them. Let's put in something like Kopama pulled up the magic, for Chelsea. And that gave them, the FIFA Club World Cup right there. So I'm just hoping that, the coach does not make a mistake. I mean, the Super Falcons coach does not make that mistake. And, he can have, every player, take out each player and also play as a team, and let's see how far we can go in the competition.
We've not had Toby's thoughts on the FIFA Club World Cup.
That's true.
Maybe we can just take his thoughts on the FIFA Club World Cup finals. All right. I think we should just move ahead at this point. Toby will back with us very shortly about Toluwani. Let's talk about transfers a little bit. Two of our players, talking transfers quickly. Super Falcons forward, Omonisona Babajide, are signed for Italian feminine side. That's talking about AS Roma.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's the news. She's representing us and she's signing the big deal. Yeah, and that's very good for her, I must say. Babajide put pen to paper on a 2-year deal with the club. The versatile forward moved to the Rome club on a free transfer after leaving Spanish Liga side Tenerife in May, following the expiration of her contract. Babajide joins her international teammate Shukrat Oladipo at AS Roma. And of course, she will link up with her new teammates after the WAFCON. That's just a little bit of that. Toby, before you left earlier, we've not had your thoughts on the FIFA Club World Cup finals. All right, he can hear us. I'm sure our engineers are on top of that situation to ensure that he gets that question. Okay. Yeah, once he's able to get that question, we will definitely talk about that. And of course, here's Babajide with a good deal for her.
I think, so one thing the competition will do for you is to, provide opportunities for club, to help us scout you properly. Yeah. And I think it's a big one for Babajide. And like Toby also said, the first game, she was all over the place, quality player. And I'm sure that attracted, the team like AS Roma, to come pick up that fantastic player. And I'm sure, she's going to add, more experience to her side also, and also give back, to AS Roma going forward. So
and of course, help our national team also.
Also help our national team. So it's experience right there. She's going to get experience, from AS Roma, bring it down to the national team also, and put in those, new formalities going forward in that game to help the Super Falcons.
But I understand that Toby Ajewole is back at this point. Hello, Toby. Hey, I think we lost him for a second again. All right, Toby, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right, Toby, we're hoping to hear from you following the FIFA Club World Cup against all odds. It was Chelsea that carried the day on Sunday.
Yes, Chelsea against all odds carried the odds, and against all odds, the odds finally were in their favor, and having 300 goals against Paris Saint-Germain. no one could have seen that coming. I'll be honest with you. And for Chelsea, I would say they were razor sharp in front of goal, and those chances which they had, they were able to capitalize on them as soon as they got them. I feel there were phases in those games that if PSG, they are taking their chances, it could have been a different scoreline. Point to note was Douei's chances. The one that I had a cutback, which I expect, in my opinion, I would have expected him to have more or less gone for a shot on goal, but elected for a cutback. But there was a Marco Correa also there to also cut out that a chance. Also, there was also a shot which he also had on goal, which Sanchez also beautifully stopped. But by and large, nothing to take away from Chelsea's game. In that game, they had a game plan, and Cole Palmer was definitely orchestrating the attack. And 2 goals he had for himself, and even João Pedro even getting the 3rd one there. For PSG, I think one major takeaway they should be having from this tournament is the, what can I call it now? Maybe I can refer to it as their lack of discipline, because when you look at the red cards that they had at this tournament, it shows that there's this lack.
They didn't keep their cool.
There was even a brawl, now if I can call it that.
Yeah, Luis Enrique.
After full time, which I seen in fisticuffs with some other players from Chelsea Football Club. But I think for Chelsea Football Club, definitely a good way to end the season. I think not just Chelsea Football Club, the remainder of the clubs that participated at this FIFA Club World Cup, because it has been a long, grueling season.
Absolutely, for Chelsea. All right, thank you very much.
No injuries going into next season for some of these players.
Well, thank you very much, Toby, for joining the show today. It's been a nice time having you join us via Zoom and talking about some of the major topic as far as sport is concerned in Nigeria. Thank you so much, Toby, and of course for you to look at your parting shot.
Okay, my parting shot is just going to be that. Arsenal, I'm just hoping that they get all things right. And also, I was speaking yesterday with David, Sport, and we're having back and forth on the situation with Arsenal. And he said, one thing that Arsenal need to do is to have a mentality going into next season. You can sign players with quality, and also they have trophies in their cabinet from a previous club. Maybe they can bring the experience, but that cannot change the team mentality. If the coach does not have the right mindset for you. So he even said, David also went on to say, maybe if they can bring in, a physio or a therapist, that can help
work on the
psyche of the players, and maybe that can help Arsenal going forward for next season. But it's all amazing. Thank you, Boluwaji, for always having me. And please make sure you subscribe, make sure you follow, make sure you share. It's always amazing to enjoy sport right here on the show. Once again, thank you so much.
Arsenal fans, Soluan is still on your case. Well, that's the size of the show today. We'll be back tomorrow for another interesting and exciting edition of the show. That's Dominion Sport on Dominion Television. Till then, do have a lovely day and stay safe.